Hello, merhaba. Welcome to Dizi. Here we are to talk about our favorite rom-com of this summer season, Masalı, with Evin.
Hi.
Welcome. So, Evin has been telling me to, do this commentary on Masalı for months, but finally we got around to it.
Hey.
And I'm so happy that we're going to talk about it after these two beautiful episodes. Like episode 12 and 13 were really, really good. Like story
Absolutely.
wise, characters, and new characters. Everything went super well. So I'm really happy actually to
Yeah,
to
me
to
too.
see progress.
Me too. Definitely. Yes, I was very scared with how we were going when the screenwriter changed. But
Mm-hmm.
so it was really, I think it was really like rocky ground for one or two episodes, but the last two episodes have been incredible. Just like you said, like all of these like cliche storylines that like we don't necessarily dislike. They're cliches because they work. But like all these cliche storylines just turned on their head and like giving us delicious plot twists. It's been so nice and so exciting to watch. And I'm really excited with like how Poyhaz is going and with like how Batu's character turned out.
I am obsessed with
Right?
Batu.
He's
He's
amazing.
amazing.
He's so fun to watch.
He's so funny, and you never know what he's gonna say, what he's gonna act like the next scene. And he's such a surprise, such a Joker, Joker character, like Joker, like the Batman. Yeah,
I mean,
he's chaotic.
yeah,
He's so
absolutely. Absolutely. He's a Joker like the Batman, but also also Joker like wild card. He's an like you never know what's coming.
and that's what makes him uh perfect. Actually, like he's
Yeah.
really perfect. Also, the actor, he's incredibly good. You
Yeah.
can feel everything. He's like jumping from emotion to emotion like this, and you're following him.
Absolutely. He's so talented. Like you said, like the transitions between these like very like extreme emotions. It's really cool to watch, definitely.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get to the most important thing of the episode, where Poyraz and Haziran was trying to get married.
Oh,
They couldn't.
almost.
We don't- almost like it's super stupid to you know invite the four people, like four horsemen of the
Apocalypse. Literally.
to, to your wedding when you know that they are trying to stop you from getting
Exactly.
together. So like I would have expected better from you guys. Like
Same. I was like, you guys planned this whole thing out. You figured out all these like schemes that were like going in the background, and you like unveiled that the true evil people were like Aliya and Zainab, and then you did this like rookie mistake. Get married first, invite them later.
they
Come on.
came like a little bit early. Like
Yeah.
if they came to me, but they were waiting for them to say yes, which
Yeah.
is yeah, it's a rookie mistake, just like you said. Anyway, so it looks like they're not going to be able to get married in the next episode because a huge fight breaks.
Surprise, surprise. Nobody saw that coming.
But like I always say, well, I've never said this in English before, so this is the first commentary in English. But um, I really, um, I really don't understand the hostility from Aliye. Like she's incredibly hostile, and her reaction to Haziran, like
Mhm.
your grandson wants to get married to a girl, and you're spitting on her. Bitch, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I was like, ma'am, step away. You need
You're
to back
so
off.
polite.
No, but yeah,
uh,
like I don't know. I get that. Like her, like Aliya finding out about Haziran and who she was and what she did, it wasn't in the greatest light. So I get that. Like she first got to know her through her mistake,
mhm,
with the with Poyraz's factory, like the olive oil factory, and then I don't know. But after that, I feel like Haziran has had so much development, and she's shown time and again how committed she is to not just Poyraz specifically, like as like a romantic interest, but to like Poyraz's interests, in terms of like getting him back his factory and like making sure he can pay off his loans and everything. She's been super committed to their plan from day one, more so than Poyraz, I would say. So like seeing that, and then she's been nothing but nice to Aliya. And like if she remembers everything she told her, or like she confessed to her while she was in the coma, how does she not remember like her just reading her a book and like putting cream on her hands, and she was being so nice to her, and the dream catcher. Oh. But yeah, like I feel like even if you like dislike a person, after them being this nice to you for such a long time, you should at least be neutral towards them, not as evil and, you know,
yeah.
yeah,
Or at least, or at least feel a, a twinge of, guilty consciousness. Like, I'm
yeah,
such an evil to this girl, but what did she do? What did she do to me? Anyway, yeah, the hostility from Aliya is just something I cannot understand. I
yeah.
think no one can understand at this moment. Also, Zeynep gave a huge reaction, but okay, that was kind of um, expected.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she's been trying so hard to get Haziran out of the island that
Yeah.
like her getting married is pretty like a solid commitment to her staying on the island. So I understand her reaction, but like you said, like
Mhm.
Alia's reaction to Haziran in general, not just in that scene, is not something. I think that's the part that bothers me most. Is that reaction is not something that's just gonna go away eventually, because the only way she'll realize that Haziran is not going away is if Haziran really stays until Aliya passes away, and like she'll see that, you know, she's not leaving. And even then she won't know if she'll stay forever with Poyraz, because she won't be there to see it. So she's never gonna come to terms with her. So I think
Yeah.
that's the part that's really bothering me, is like that's kind of like an unsolvable problem between them. But I
Yeah.
hope she'll finally figure out, like, Haziran is there for like all the right reasons, as they say on The Bachelor.
Well, I was going to say something. Last week when after the what is it called? What is Kermes called in English? Like the fest, the town fest.
Oh yeah,
Um,
like the fair. Is that? I
yeah,
think
the
that's.
fair. Yeah, the fair. In the street, Aliya told Haziran, like, as long as I'm alive, you won't be together. And we talked with you, and I said, if I were Haziran, I would have said, well, your days are counted. And Haziran said almost the same thing to
Yeah,
Aliya this week. She said, um, what did she say?
she said something like, you know, like you're
You
gonna
want
pass
to,
away eventually, but I'll be
yeah,
with them until I go. You know.
yeah, exactly, until the end of my life, basically. So I'm so glad to hear that Haziran is also thinking
Yeah,
the
she was like, enough is enough, bitch. Like I'm here to stay.
By the way, I'm hearing myself. Do you hear an echo?
No.
Is it sound good? Okay. Okay, great. So Gekso is here with us, and Ashe is here with us. Guys,
Hi.
welcome. Um, So, okay, apart from the wedding plot, wedding
Yeah,
surprise, the episode was like really funny and really dynamic in its
absolutely.
pace. It was
Absolutely. So
fast
true.
paced, and I loved it because it was a perfect rom-com episode.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, I was not bored for a second. I didn't feel the need to like, you know how like in some other shows, there are points where like some other characters are like on the screen or the plot changes and you're just like, let me just check my phone real quick for like 5 minutes. I very, very rarely have those moments while watching the Masalı, and that makes me really happy because it keeps you engaged. And
Yeah,
there isn't really a character that I don't like or like I'm not interested in, which I think is
I
pretty
think
hard to do with this big of a cast. I know, like the the Biricik Mirisa and the iPad.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even those scenes are kind of starting to get on my nerves at this point. Like, okay, commit to one thing and let's move on and let's see what's going to happen next. But this
exactly.
like, limbo between like what's going to happen, like they didn't really confess, but like they were, I don't know, exposed, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like everything's moving at a pretty slow pace there, and they just need to like figure out what they're gonna do it, and then move on to the next thing for all those three characters.
Yeah, I really, really dislike Mirisa and Alper together. Thinking of them together, I just dislike it. And I don't know if they want to, make that couple. I will probably be, checking my phone.
I get
While
that.
they're-
I think they had a chance to make them interesting or at least like cute, but
Yeah,
like they missed all of the opportunities where that could have happened, and then now it's kind of like weird to watch.
exactly. It's super weird,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, that could have been cute if Alperen Biricik did not become a couple.
Yeah, or if they were already like broken up,
I
like
am.
and Biricik was like, yeah, like this is not working, and I was here only for like a summer fling, anyways. Like if she
Yeah,
stayed that like the character she was in the first episodes, the first few episodes, she was a lot more like casual about Alper. But I kind of like
hmm
that, her feelings kind of developed into something a little bit deeper because that also shows like character growth and like how she was feeling more comfortable being on the island and everything. Um, but yeah, I feel like, like I told you this before. Like I'm a sucker for the childhood best friends to lovers trope. Um, but now it's weird. They made it weird. So I don't know. Like
yeah.
even if they do become a couple, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna enjoy seeing Mirisa and Efar together.
Mhm. Mm. And it's a shame because the actor who plays Alper is gorgeous. Like he is gorgeous, and I want to see
Yeah.
him. But then I'm like, ew, Alper.
I was like, you want them to say I love you, but you're like you can't, and this is a disaster, and like shut up and leave.
It is a disaster. I loved Poyraz's reaction to
Yeah, I was like,
to
why?
Alper and Melisa.
I was like, why did you kiss? Why would you do this? Like, what the fuck? Guys, I turned
Ah,
away for 1 minute and look at this. Like,
and his reaction is also telling because okay, Alper couldn't tell that Melissa was in love with him for the last 15 years, but Poyraz couldn't tell it either. Huh?
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, maybe he always knew Melissa's feelings, but just didn't want to make it a
Right. Yeah.
big deal. But if he also knew that Alper had some feelings towards her, he would
Yeah.
have definitely done something.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
didn't because there was nothing in between these two since 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So
The high school, like I was watching you watch one.
please.
Like that
Please.
that was a little like too little too late, I think. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think there could have been so many other things where they could have made it seem more natural. Like, do you remember I was telling you, like, I hope they don't give Mirisa a full-on, like, Barbie, like, Cinderella makeover thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's what they ended up doing exactly. But because I was hoping for something a little bit more subtle, or like at least I was thinking like, oh, okay, so she'll like be this completely different woman. But Alper will realize that like that's not who she is, and like like he likes something like specific about who she actually is, and like she doesn't need all of this like makeover, like whatever stuff that
Yeah.
she thinks she needs to prove herself like worthy of like his attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping that like his realization of his feelings was going to come about in that way, which I thought would like might be a little bit more natural, but that ended up just not happening at all.
No. Also, Alper has been acting like a clueless brick for the last 5 episodes
Yep.
or something. But before, he used to be, self-confident, kind of like a playboy
Yeah.
type. He was so confident about his, affairs, let's say.
Yeah,
But
yeah, so true.
he lost.
No, and I was like, I remember thinking in the earlier episodes, I was like, oh yeah, like it's kind of like Biricik and Alper, like they meet their match because, I mean, Alper is kind of like a fuckboy, and Biricik
And
was
they
like
do
that too.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I was like, oh okay, this makes sense that like this guy is like this hot guy, like with the tourists, like at the island, like on the island and everything, and then Biricik is like a party girl from the city, like that was gonna, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, they had to go and make it a fairy tale kind of love story. Oh, please, God, no. Anyway, enough with this. Happy Go Lucky says, I think because they could not figure out what to do with Biricik, keep her or send her, it took so long to move forward.
Hmm.
Exactly. And Asha says, am I the only one that still likes Mirisa? I'm not sure with Alper, but I still like Mirisa. No, you're definitely not the only one.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I like
Mirisa
Minnesota
alone, okay. Alper alone, maybe.
too.
Together?
Yeah, no, I like Minnesota too, and I like how like she's becoming more of a complex character. I think she's really dealing with this guilt and how she went about declaring her feelings. So it's nice to kind of watch her go through like her own guilt and face her own decisions and face the consequences of what she did.
Yeah. Happy Go Lucky says, Alper acts like he's still in high school. He's quite immature. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to Poyhas because they had really, really cute scenes this episode,
Yes.
especially where the one in which Haziran woke Poyraz up at the dawn, and they went swimming at
Oh.
dawn. Like this is the like top luxury. Like I don't know any better luxuries than this.
Right? Just like being able to wake up and go to the beach and like, oh, swim whenever you want. It's right there. Oh.
I love it. I love
That
that scene.
that's what makes me like keep like going back to it. That's why the Masalı is the perfect summer rom-com. It's just every scene is oozing like summer energy and just the I don't know the cute vibes of a romantic comedy, and like the perfect amount of angst I think so far, except for
Yes.
the one episode where we got Botu being like a mafia connection
Psycho
killer something.
narrating the whole episode, and I'm like, what the hell is happening here? Literally, it got me scared a bit. But
Yeah,
now, Booker is like the clown
yeah,
of the island.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I think they really turned that around really well, because I think we might have seen the show end in a couple of episodes if they went down that road with like the narration and the just the ultimate evil guy thing, like the guy who can't ever be defeated. Those are the worst kind of villainous characters, I think. Like when they're just too smart for everyone and they know everything and they have connections everywhere, and it feels like you're just, there's no way to win. So like there's no interest to keep watching. But they turned his character around really nicely, and I don't know, it's cool to like, I love the moments where people are like, "Are you interested in Haziran then?" And he's like, "Nah, just not my type." Like, no.
Oh my god, his lines are killer. His one-liners, amazing, perfect.
So good. I don't know how many of them like fully translate into English or like into other languages, but in Turkish, guys, he's hilarious.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the downside of watching a show that is not in a language that you speak. Also, we feel this when we watch, I don't know, something else in Spanish or in Korean, I don't know. Some things get lost in translation, but really his jokes, his one-liners are on point. Fleek, on fleek.
On
fleek. Also, the new dynamic between Batu and Idil is just perfect. They are the perfect match. Who would have thought?
The chemistry is chef's kiss. It's so good. I think like they're a really good match in terms of their own insecurities and their backgrounds and like the traumas they've had in the past. I'm a sucker for a story of like we'll heal each other and like us against the world, kind of like these dysfunctional couples. I think they're going to be a great example of that, and we talked about this in the Turkish live minutes ago, but I really like how you can tell that Idil is just very comfortable being, her true self when he's near Batu, and she doesn't have to be like all dressed up or like with her hair pulled up, and like, her usual armor kind of is just gone with him, because she can be just, who she is. Like she doesn't have to hide like her evilness or like her regrets, her feelings, like her bad side, her dark side. So I think that's really cool to watch and get a deeper glimpse of these characters.
Definitely. The scene where they were watching a TV series on television, and where they were discussing what's going on in the episode, and then they started crying. The dynamic actually started in the last episode where Idil saw the scars on Batu's back, and she showed him some mercy, which he really needed, and that just broke the ice between them. But I wouldn't say break the ice, but I don't know how to say it. Just put them close together in one instance. And just one moment later they were hugging, and both of them crying, and it was a very raw moment.
Absolutely.
And after that they keep putting on and on.
I mean, it was that moment was interesting because he revealed something about himself so that she would feel comfortable revealing something of herself, and then he used that against her actually and blackmailed her with it, to confess to Poyraz about her feelings. But I don't know, I like that, again, that feeds into the whole like the dysfunctional couple, like the two villains.
Definitely. It's very exciting.
Yeah, so it's cool to watch them build upon that like initial connection, and each time they have those moments of connection, it's always these like really deep conversations about their own worldviews and how they see themselves.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's really nice to get those moments when it's not only the main character's love story.
Mm-hmm. Just like you said, we saw it didn't always in a perfect condition, in a perfect state, always perfect, always her hair, her dresses, everything. She was just like a princess. And, Görkem was calling her the girl whose hair doesn't move. Or I couldn't translate it anyway. Uh, the girl with the unmoving hair. Well, anyway, but since she became friends with Batu, we've been seeing her with her hair down, with her sitting cross-legged, something she never did before, and she's like definitely much more relaxed. And we also saw her cry and drink
Yeah.
the same day. And then it in the end it gave us a kiss scene which wasn't a kiss but was a kiss.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was so creative. I really liked that one.
Yeah, I wasn't like the close-ups in that scene kind of like took me out of the moment for a second because I was like so invested in what they were talking about and like the energy and the intensity of that moment. But like after talking about it in the Turkish live too, like putting it like that, like the close-ups kind of serving as a kiss that didn't really happen. Yeah, I kind of see the point of like having those close-ups in that moment. Yeah,
Literally, there is fire between them, and
so
it's
true.
so good to watch. Like
Yeah,
I'm literally waiting what's going to happen between Idil and Batu next.
yeah,
So, we'll see. And also they had a really good conversation about life, about their perspectives, and what they're going to do from now on.
yeah.
So it was a really good. It could have been a cliche, a cringe scene, but in the end, it turned out to be so natural.
Absolutely.
I love it.
That's what I like about the couples in this show. Like especially, well, like I said, they kind of messed that up with Mirisa, Alper, and Biricik. But initially, with how they started, Biricik and Alper were a very natural, like realistic couple or like a potential couple. And
Yeah,
then I think Idil and Hakan were also a very interesting, real dynamic. And Poyraz and
yeah,
Hazine are obviously there. I think it's such a real relationship, and like that's what I keep thinking from like almost since episode one is I could actually see those two characters or like these two people happen in real life. Like if Poyraz and Haziran were actual people, yeah, they would probably end up together because so many of their values and like their outlooks on life and who they are like at their core, I think matches up really well. So I really enjoy that this show has very realistic couples and like these real people. So it's always really fun to watch, and there's always very interesting dynamics at play.
exactly. Another very realistic conversation was, well, realistic. Uh, when they were about to have a date at Haziran's place, and Poyraz comes in without even speaking, without saying anything. And then the first thing he says is like, "Are we going to be talking about the grapes whole night?" The guy is on fire, but he had to suffer
Yeah, I
because of.
know. Vinicic was like the biggest like block in history. It was
Yes.
like
Yeah, his mood, his like, what am I gonna do? His
you're serving
reactions.
food, like wow.
Yeah, he was sitting in the kitchen like, So angry, fuming.
It was so sad when he was like he dozed off while they were watching the movie.
Poor guy.
Fell asleep.
Oh. Happy Go Lucky says Asha was like a goddess in the morning swim scene. Yeah, she
Oh
was.
God,
And
yeah.
both of them are gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like that
And
scene, I think had such a nice energy. Like the trust between them and the intimacy. It was so nice to watch.
yeah, honestly, I really miss watching intimacy with the couples
Yeah.
because they keep saying we love each other, we are so much in love, we love each other like we can die for each other. Yes, but what do you share? Like,
Yeah.
you don't share anything in reality. You just love each other because you cannot get together, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of becomes a point of stubbornness at some point
Mm.
that like, oh, like so many things are trying to keep us apart that we must be together.
Yeah, exactly.
um, and I think
But
that's how it feels with a lot of like the Turkish Dizi couples. Um,
unfortunately,
so it's really rare and very special when you get these like rare couples where you have this intimacy and they share things, they share their lives with each other. And Poyas definitely has that. Yeah, it's really nice to see them just like have a friendship and a partnership on top of just being romantic interests. So it's really cool.
I agree. And in last week's episode, like the scene that I really liked was wait a second. I need to fix the uh
I can't hear you. Oh wait, I think it's okay now. No.
now.
Yes, now. Yes.
No, you can't hear me. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry. So in the last episode where Poyraz shared his, the dark point in his past, and
Mhm.
Haziran was there to understand and just understand, not judge, not say anything, just understand him and give him her unconditional love,
Yeah.
and that's something like an open communication and just unconditional love, nothing else. And
Exactly.
it is so nice to see because I really miss seeing this on screen. It's the the it should be the base of any relationship, but what we usually see, just like you said before, what we usually see is just cute scenes that pass like a video clip, music
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, that's what really bothers me with most Turkish Dizi couples is that yeah, like they'll have it's like the audience wants these two like actors to just stand together and
Yeah.
the background will change to different like romantic settings while a song plays in the background. It just like this couple goes to a picnic. They go to the amusement park. They'll go on a dinner date and like they'll have these very basic just kind of generic
Superficial,
like
generic.
like generic romantic moments that don't really mean anything because it says nothing about the couple that they are or like the people who are in that couple. Not all couples are people who would go to a picnic or like who would go to an amusement park together or or
Exactly.
yeah, like or who would go bungee jumping together. Like every couple has their own different vibe and
Yeah,
different things that they would do. So
exactly.
yeah, so I always feel kind of removed from the narrative of the couple when I see stuff like that. So for Poyraz and Haziran to have that different connection and actually it's something to really commend the screenwriters on as they'll like they're really committed to who these characters are and what they stand for and what they mean to each other, and
Exactly.
everything that they do really aligns with that.
Exactly. They delivered a real couple, and also this real couple, apart from their like real love for each other, like love and care for each other,
Mhm.
they also have respect for each other.
Absolutely.
Except for just one scene where like Poyraz was enraged and threw Haziran's clothes out of her house. Except for that one scene, which I don't know where it came from. Uh, Apart from that,
Oh, I
Uh,
can't hear you.
you
Wait.
can't
Oh,
hear
okay,
me?
it's back. Well, no, it's back. It's back. It just went off for a
Ah,
second.
okay. Okay. Apart from that one scene, Poyraz and Haziran have always been so respectful towards each other, and you can see it in their relationship. Like,
I think so
and
too.
that should be also the basic of a good relationship.
Absolutely. And like you said with the scene in the last episode, with Haziran like not judging or not trying to fix anything for him, just listening to him and offering her support and compassion and love. It was so nice, and to see, especially to see a man be this vulnerable, like for a Turkish audience, I think it's very rare to see a man be vulnerable with his past and his problems and be so open, and to receive this kind of just like unconditional support and love, like you said. It was very nice to see, and it just seeing scenes like that, where characters truly share things about themselves with each other, that's what makes you believe in the love of that couple. And like when you say like, oh, that like Poi House has a legendary love story, as most production companies do with their PR, like every couple has a legendary love story. The ones who actually rise above the rest are the ones like Poi House, and I think Dijbar was like that, and I think Zekar was like that in Güneş Beklerken. Like there are some couples on TV like that truly fight for their love, and so they make it, I don't know, they're just different.
exactly. Most of the time, I say, yeah, like I'm watching a couple, and I'm like, yes, you love each other, but what did you share?
Yeah.
So, but Poyhan really serves that. Like you can see what they share. They share everything, and they know being so vulnerable and sharing or telling the darkest points of your life to someone is not that easy. And in Poirot's case, like you don't know if I mean he doesn't know if what Haziran would say. Haziran could have been like, okay, then I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Poirot didn't know this, and that's a risk you take when you're being so vulnerable. And then uh, he found her unconditional love for him, and after that moment, Poirot definitely became a couple on a different level.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Because
now on, you can see that they're not going to, end just like any other couple.
yeah,
And even if they decide to really get married in this episode, it wouldn't have been so awkward.
exactly. Like it wouldn't have been too early or anything. I mean, like maybe it would have been like a bit too early, but you see that they have what it takes to decide to get married and like to share their lives together, because they're already at that point where they know every like important thing about each other. So it's just like they could choose to date for 6 more months and then get married, or they could
Mhm.
get married right now because like they're just that sure of each other. And I think
Yeah.
that's what comes back to like what you just said. And it's not necessarily just it's when scenes like that happens and like a character becomes vulnerable with the other, and then they get that love back. I think that's not only something that we get to see, like that scene doesn't prove that couple's love to the audience, but also in the story, that's the scene that confirms one character's love for another. And so after that scene, you know that Poyraz is not going to question Haziran's love anymore. And that means a major step forward in that relationship. So then that couple rises above other cliche storylines, like, oh, like, I'm so jealous of you. Like, no, you're like, you know how those scenes go always like, oh, you're not jealous of me? No, I'm not jealous of you. You know, like they get into this loop of like making the other confess to being jealous of them. But like, how is that a romantic thing?
I don't know. And in this episode, we had that kind of scene, but it went perfectly well because
Yeah.
Poyraz heard that someone was seeing, no, not seeing. How can we say? Someone was
Like
visiting,
marriage.
yeah, visiting Haziran to marry her, and then he went there enraged. But then he was like, I'm gonna kill him. But then Haziran said, "Don't you really trust me? Don't you know that I will not allow this?" And that's it. That was the end of it, as it should be, and that
Yeah,
was perfect.
exactly. Yeah, I think at those moments, like, it's important to realize that, like, Poyraz should realize that what he's really mad about is like what he's really mad at isn't Haziran, but maybe Zainab for doing this, or
Yeah.
for these people for like having the audacity to come here and ask for Haziran's hand. But yeah, so it's really important to separate that from him being angry at Haziran or her being angry at Poyraz, but the situation, and then they talk about it and deal with it because there's communication.
Because they're adults.
Yes.
Who would have thought? Happy Go Lucky says, despite what Batu did, using her secret against her, Idil still saved him by confessing her love to Poyraz. Exactly. And
So
she
true.
forgot that. She did not make it a deal.
Yeah, that's so true.
And she can, Happy Go Lucky continues, Poyraz's wedding was a breaking point for Idil. From now on, Batu and Badin will develop in full speed. Yeah, exactly. As soon as she understood what's going on, she just turned around and left.
Yeah. She was like, I would like to be removed from this narrative.
She just left. That was perfect because now we know that Idil is not going to be, trying to meddle in trying to do some stupid stuff or be a toy for Aliye, probably,
I hope
hopefully.
so. I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I think this was probably her biggest fear, that losing Poyraz forever in this
Yeah.
way. And yeah, maybe this will be a good chance to see her character like completely break down and be like, okay, who am I if I'm not trying to get Poyraz's attention? Because that's what she's been doing for 20 years. And like she said in the previous episode, she was like it feels like a piece breaks in me every time I see you, and like I feel empty inside now. So now she gets to maybe find herself and like feel whole again with
Mm.
Batu's help, hopefully.
Well, but with help,
I mean, he's another case entirely, but
who's gonna help Batu? Who's gonna help Batu?
it is.
And Happy Go Lucky says it was also great that Haziran immediately went to Poyraz with a photo and asked what was that about in the last episode. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I really like.
Communication. Oh my god. Um, let's continue with this episode's scenes. What else was there?
Going off of this moment that Happy Go Lucky was talking about, I really like that she went immediately to him with the photo in the last episode. And in this episode, I was very happy that they didn't hide what they learned about Zainab and Aliya from each other towards the end of the episode. And they really struggled with it because they could tell that it was a big deal that these two people who are supposed to be the closest people to Poyraz and Haziran would do this behind their backs and like actively try to sabotage their happiness. under the ridiculous excuse of we just want you to be happy. They're like, I am. Hello.
It's incredible. Really, it's incredible.
Yeah. But so I was very happy that I think it was really natural for them to struggle whether with whether or not telling the other about what they learned, because it's a big thing, and it's kind of it would change their view of how they look at their families. So it was really nice when they decided that I trust this person enough that our love is above everything else. Yeah.
I also really liked the parallel scene that was going on. Like Poyraz learned that Zeynep was behind Batu's plans, and Haziran learned that Aliya was in on Idil's plan. So, and they consequently went to, Haziran went to talk and have a face off with with Aliya, and Poyraz went to talk to Zeynep, and both of them were like, I love Haziran and I'm not gonna let you do this to her, or I love Poyraz and I won't let you do this. So it was really nice seeing this, and it showed us again how much they trust each other and how much they care for each other. And
exactly.
But it's crazy how these two old women cannot see what's going on.
Honestly, like I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, if you look at like other shows, there's always this, like, I think, is this what we talked about in the Turkish live too? Like there's always this sense of fighting for our love, but also like underneath that, the two people will never tell each other everything because they're trying to protect the other.
Yeah.
So it's always this individual fight for their love, but they're unaware of each other almost. So it was, I don't know, to have Poyraz be in each other's corner and really fight for their love together without hiding anything from each other, and like just they're unwavering as a couple. They're so sure about their own love and how they feel about each other that it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. So like this is what truly like fighting for your love means. And I don't know, I just really love their story.
Me too. I love them, really. This couple is really one of the best we've been watching. Like, yes, there are cliches in the story, but they are serving the cliches so well that we're like, oh yes. Well, Fatima, she says unfortunately she won't be able to watch the live. Oh, but it doesn't matter because the video will be on our channel. So whenever you have free time, you can go back and watch it again. Go on, please, with your love. You're doing so good. Do it often. Love ya. Thank you. We love you too, and we'll try to do it more often.
Yes, definitely.
Carol says, "Hi, Carol. What do you think of grandmother going to Istanbul?" Okay. So we saw the feet and shoes of Poyraz's mother, which means we're going to see her in the next episode, probably the end of the next episode, or the other one in 15th, probably. But we saw that she works at a really huge office, or
it was very
very luxurious.
Yeah.
So what is she doing?
Yeah. By the way, are we absolutely sure that was Poyraz's mother?
Yeah.
I assumed it was because of
Aliya going off the rails.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you more than anything. You hate everything, lady.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you even like? And it feels like you don't even really love Poyraz, because if you did, like, this is not how you would play this.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I also think it was Poyraz's mother, but I just wanted to see, like, if you guys have any other theories, put it down in the comments.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, the best explanation is that yeah, that's the mom.
Okay, asking for money from his mother is a wise move. Okay, it will take his problems away, but probably Poyraz will not be accepting it.
Yeah.
as much
I mean,
as
yeah.
much as we know about Poyraz, he won't be
Yeah.
accepting that. So he's going to, sorry, so she's going to hide it, one secret from Poyraz,
Yeah.
until the mom comes to the island.
Exactly.
But what strikes me more is how much she hates the woman. So it's just like how much she hates Haziran. It's the same tone of voice she's talking to both of them, I
Yeah.
think. Almost.
Almost. Yeah. It's. I mean, we haven't really seen the mother and Aliyah fully interact yet, so I can't make any assumptions there. But clearly Aliyah doesn't like her with good reason. Like,
Yeah, I
nobody
am.
should like her.
I
Um,
am.
but yeah, like, how is your hatred towards this person who did what she did to Poyraz when he was just a kid, and, like, to her own kid? How is your reaction to that the same as your reaction to Haziran, who has made one mistake and she made up for it? It's like,
I don't know. And your grandson says he loves her.
yeah,
Like, that should be the end of the story. He says, I love her. I'm
exactly.
happy. You can see that he's happy.
And he specifically said, like, please don't do anything that will harm us.
Yeah. Happy Go Lucky says, Aliyah hating Haziran more than Poyraz's mother is weird. Yeah, Aliyah is weird altogether. And Happy Go Lucky again continues, Aliyah's downfall will be that contact with the mother. Poyraz will never forgive Aliyah.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
yeah, but it can turn around, and then we can see Poyraz forgiving his mother too. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you never know.
if we go with the cliche Turkish Dizi plot, it probably will be like, this huge fight between Aliye and Poyraz and the mom, and then Poyraz will say, like, I'll never forgive you, like, you're dead to me. And then
Yeah.
by the end of that episode, we'll see Aliye truly be in her deathbed, and Poyraz will obviously have to forgive her. And then we'll just be like,
Goodbye. Goodbye, Aliyah.
fine. But yeah, like, I still don't know if I don't know how I would feel about Poyraz ultimately forgiving his mom too. Like,
Yeah,
how do you come back from that? How would
no,
you
you
let
don't.
your own son go to jail for something he didn't even do? And,
Well,
like, yikes.
because of her office, maybe she is, I don't know, like something to do with, like, prosecutor or something like that. But which prosecutor has that kind of an office anyway?
Yeah. And,
Yeah,
like,
maybe she did something, like, because he's underage. His, you know, it's, his punishment will not be that big. Probably we're gonna see that's what she told at the
yeah,
time, but
yeah.
still, like, it's horrible.
But, like, the punishment won't be big, but the trauma will.
Yeah,
Like, as an adult, you're supposed to face up to the consequences of your actions. Come on.
oh my god, oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But,
story is crazy.
yeah.
That
I'm
story is crazy.
I'm nervous to see how that will all unfold. But, like, I hope
Yeah,
it's not, like, at this point. I hope it's not going to have anything to really disrupt Poyraz's relationship, because
I hope so.
yeah, like at this point, I just want to see them be fully supportive of each other, and having that support from one another during these like absolutely crazy times for Poyraz.
Yeah. Carol says the hatred between Aliyah and Zainab is epic too. They are just both crazy. They just go and fight somewhere, in a deserted corner of the aisle and just leave everyone alone.
I want to take that. Do you remember that, like, the private island thing that Poyraz took Haziran to? I just want to like put them in a rowboat and just like dump them on that island and leave. Like, fight.
That's crazy. Yeah, and most of the like hostility from Zainab towards Poyraz comes from Alias hostility actually. Okay, Zainab wants Haziran to leave the island and just don't stay there, don't waste her career and opportunities in life. Okay, understandable. But then she sees Alia's hostility towards her, and she just goes off the rail. And I cannot blame her for that because Aliyah is really rude. So at least Zainab is defending Haziran, but then trying to do these games, play these games to make her go away from the island is just too much. I hope she will come to her senses.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't believe, like, after she talked to Batu after he came to the island, she could tell that he wasn't okay.
Yeah.
He was mentally not okay, and she still didn't say anything, and she was gonna let this guy seduce Haziran or whatever and take her away.
Yeah.
What kind of mother does that?
I don't know. I don't know. But what happened between Aliyah and Zainab to cause all these hatred also towards Haziran that just goes until Haziran? Like what happened? What's Aliyah's problem from the past?
Yeah, I hope we find that out soon.
Yeah, I hope so. And also considering that Zainab's mom was Aliyah's best friend. So
yeah, it's definitely going to be a layered conflict, I think. But I just really hope that we get to it as soon as possible, because I feel like the more they stall that storyline, the more it's going to be, the less it's going to be effective. I think it's just going to lose its importance or
dissolve.
Every little clue that they've dropped us so far won't matter, because they're gonna forget about them if they let this go on long enough, and it's gonna end up being this thing that like makes no sense and comes out of nowhere. So I just I need them to get down and explain it, and then we can move on with the consequences.
Exactly. Happy Go Lucky says, I hope Poyraz will be to Aliyah like the Duke of Hastings to his father in his deathbed. Yeah, the Duke of Hastings attitude. Huh?
Another Bridgerton fan, I see. That scene was iconic, honestly. And yeah, I agree too. I agree that just be like, sorry, not forgiving you. Too late. Had your chance.
Exactly. We're usually used to seeing the main characters being merciful to those evils in their lives, even if they like destroyed their childhood, destroyed their whole lives. I'm still gonna be merciful. No, the Duke of Hastings was like, no.
Yeah, like, bitch. Like, no. Yeah, I mean, like, just because you're a good person doesn't mean that you like get to be a doormat, like just everyone like walks all over you, and you have to just forgive everyone and like be the bigger person all the time because you're a good person and that's what's required of you. That's not a thing. If people screw you over and ruin your life, you have all the right not to forgive them ever.
Agreed. What else about the episode? What else can we talk about? Their dates, the beach volley.
The beach volley scene, so fun. And like the shout out to the Turkish women's volleyball team was so good. They really deserved it because they didn't really. I don't think they got a lot of coverage on social media, but I don't know how much coverage they got on mainstream media in Turkey. So I was really happy to see, them get a shout out finally, a much deserved
Yes,
one.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. For the last 2 months, maybe everyone's been, talking about the Turkish volleyball team, national volleyball team. So yeah, the shout out was on
So
point.
good.
um, and then there was this super funny scene between Batu and Poyraz in the woods. I love the dynamic between Poyraz and Batu as well. They just come together very rarely,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But when they come, the jokes are
So good. Like they're I don't know, their dynamic is really funny and like the ultimate like the odd couple thing.
yes, love
So,
hate.
yeah, love hate. Like they're the I want to see the whole frenemy vibe between
Oh
them
yeah,
just flourish as the season goes on because I think now that
the
they kind
couples
of
are obsessed.
yeah, like now that Poyraz and Haziran saw that the real threat was Aliya and Zeynep and not necessarily Idil and Batu, I think the dynamic between Batu and Poyraz will start to shift into like playful hatred,
Yeah, yeah.
probably.
You can see just how much he is annoyed with Batu, but then he sees that he's crazy.
He's like, this man.
Oh, they're perfect. I love them so much.
Yeah.
And what else?
I think that's pretty much it. Like
Yeah,
I usually enjoy most of the side line, like the side storylines as well.
yeah. Zeynep Latif and Selma Fatih and Nihir with Görkem. Nihir
Yeah,
tagging along everywhere with Görkem. They are really good, by the way. They
they're really
became a
funny.
good idea.
So true. And honestly, like after the first few episodes where I was like, Görkem was maybe a little bit too much in some scenes. I
Mhm.
thought that for like maybe 2, 3 episodes, but then they pulled him back to this like very funny, very biting, like sarcastic character. It's great like chemistry with everyone, like every scene partner that he has. I think it's
Yeah,
always so fun to watch him with Haziran or with Zeynep or with Salma, Nehir, Poyraz, like anyone they pair him up with, it ends up being hilarious. Um,
exactly.
so it's yeah, I always look forward to his scenes now.
Exactly. And he delivers the lines like
So, so
perfectly. So good. I really wonder how much of it is um,
improv.
improvisation and how much of it is in the script.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's true.
he's
I feel
really
like yeah,
good.
he might be maybe doing a little bit more improv than yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Very nice to watch. Just one little heartbreaking scene was where Fatih was trying to win Nihir's heart, and she was super cruel. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, and like for a second, like her face kind of
Yeah.
softened, and I was like, "Oh, okay, she's gonna come around." And she was like, "Take it somewhere else." No
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay. She was a real goth at that moment. I hope she gets over it.
Yeah, I mean, like I understand that she doesn't want Salma to get hurt again, and everything. But I mean, like she's an adult. You're an adult, and you're so young. She's what? She's like I think she's like 19 or 20 maybe. And you're not gonna live with your mom in this house forever. What do you
Yeah.
want for your future? And like, what are you gonna do? Like, even if you're gonna stay on the island, you're probably not gonna forever be living with your mom. So why don't you just let her have her own piece of happiness and like security and whatever
Yeah.
else Fatih wants to provide her?
Yeah. Exactly. I think also for Nihir, I mean, uh, in the coming episodes, we will see Fatih providing more for Nehir rather than trying to prove something to Selma, because Selma already knows, she can
Yeah.
see. But for Nehir, she lacks a father figure in her life, and Fatih will be probably showing that to her. Although he has never been a father, I think,
I don't think so.
but he has it internally.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch as well. And I really wonder what Görkem will say about that.
Oh, true. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure he's
I,
gonna be like, he'll have hilarious remarks.
oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
So yeah, and we talked about the next episode's trailer
yeah,
teaser.
the preview. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, preview.
Yeah. I don't
Uh,
know. Like, I don't know how the whole wedding thing will turn out. I feel like maybe we'll get a flashback of them trying to like decide on what to do next and then deciding on getting married. I hope we get a
mm,
flashback of that moment because I felt like that was kind of like a missing scene a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but because we didn't get a scene that showed us, them deciding to get married, I think we'll eventually get like a pretty cool proposal or, you know, a romantic flashback or something that's just
Mhm.
gonna be perfection.
Yeah, let's hope. I mean, uh, in Poyraz we trust.
Yes.
Maybe not so much, but he's improving.
Yeah, he's definitely improving. I'll say in Poyhaz we'll try we trust.
Yeah, that's much better. Good. Okay, I think we've talked pretty much everything in the episode, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And for the viewers who are not our who are not subscribed to our channel yet, please do subscribe and please like the video. And we would be happy if you left a comment, and
Yeah.
we will read it and answer it, of course. So thank you everyone for all your comments and for having this chat with us this night. And
Yeah, thank
hope to see
you.
you
Yes. Yay.
again. Good night. Bye bye.